to have all the answers. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Spilling the Spiritual Tea with your host, Psychic Medium Spiritualizer, Linda Blaze. That is one of the biggest frustrations I hear when I'm talking with clients on a regular basis is they don't know what the next step is. They can't see the end result. And so they get really, really frustrated. But here's the kicker. You just have to know what you want and be willing to have faith that God has your back and do the work. That's it. That's all you really need. So you have to sit down and think, okay, what do I want? God promised me that I can have anything that I want in this life. So before we even came into this life, we sat down and we planned that out. We've already decided what we wanted. We've already decided what we came here to do. So if you have a calling, not just a wanting, like I want to win $1,000,000, I want to be rich, I want that. But if you have this deep calling in your heart, this thing that no matter what you do, you just can't shake it. You're just being called in that direction. It's because it's meant for you. It's what you've already chosen. It's what you said you would come here to do. So the longer you ignore it, the deeper into depression, anxiety, panic, lost feeling you get because you're not listening to that nudge that says, hey, this is what you're here to do, not this other stuff, not this distraction over here. Follow that nudge inside your heart, and that's where your happiness lies. Because no matter who you are, you created a life that you could come and be happy in. We didn't create a life of struggle and hardness and pain. Yes, we walk through those moments because that's just life. You're going to have loss. You're going to have illness. You're going to get in accidents. Like all of these are just part of the process to help us step forward into that real purpose of what we're here. So God said, yeah, I will give you everything you want. You sat down, you planned it out. You planned your parents, you planned your circumstances, you planned your careers, you planned your partners, your children. You planned all of that in advance. You planned the divorces. It's all planned out right there for you. You just have to follow that nudge moving forward. And if you choose joy over anything else, you will always go in the right direction. Even during those hardest days, you get to choose how you react. So you get to decide, yeah, I got in a car accident today. Am I going to let it ruin my life? It was just a fender bender. Or am I going to be happy and be like, hey, you know what? You made a mistake. I made a mistake. Let's move on with it. So you don't have to sit in the anger, the frustration, all that kind of stuff. You can choose joy and love and light instead and make your life a whole lot easier. You could be stuck in traffic instead of getting angry and zooming in and out of traffic. You can be like, it's rush hour. This is going to happen. I know that. Let's crank the twos and make the most of it. It is up to you on how you decide to react to every situation. So you planned all of this before you came. That nudge in there that keeps calling you forward, that you keep ignoring because you don't know the way, you don't know how to make it happen. People tell you it's impossible. All those things that say, I can't, I can't, I can't, keeping you stuck, keeping you in that darkness. I want you to break free of that today. Today's the day you say, you know what? I'm not listening to those excuses because that nudge inside, Linda said that nudge is for me. And sometimes it is towards greatness, and sometimes it's toward peace. Sometimes it's toward freedom, love, pure joy. Maybe it's a hobby that you love, and you're like, you know what? I could probably make money from this and create a life that I love, and you're ignoring it because it's not practical. Oh, how many times I talk to people who go to work that they hate every single day because they were told their dreams aren't practical. But I promise you, if you follow that nudge, God will find a way. Source will find a way. Your guides will find a way. They will move things around when you are aligned with what you're here for. So you chose it before you came. You don't have to know the entire step. You just got to know the next step. So maybe the next step is like, hey, you know what? I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this. I'm going to follow this nudge a little bit and see where it leads me. And when you're open to receiving in any way, shape, or form it comes, that's when the magic happens. Because maybe you love to paint. My son's girlfriend painted my beautiful ghost behind me. And I would love for her to follow her passion. She's not. Not everybody listens to me. Not everyone thinks I'm the smartest woman in the room. But I will tell you one thing. If she followed her passion, she would be so much happier. So all she has to do is be like, okay, I'm going to follow that passion. I'm going to get better at it. I'm going to offer my services. I'm going to show people what I do and move forward with that and find her joy. She's not. And I know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I talk to regularly that are like, oh, I can't, it's not practical, it won't pay the bills. I promise you, your guides will make it happen if you follow it. So maybe somebody watching this says, oh, I love that ghost. I would love for her to paint me something. She's not doing that. She's not allowing herself to grow. That is how we grow and move forward. If you're someone in business, if you show up and you do your best every single freaking day, people are going to talk about you. They're going to be like, wow, have you talked to that person? And they're going to refer you and they're going to say, hey, you know what? I just had this done. Go check them out. They're freaking amazing. But instead, you're like, I'm afraid I don't know how to get my first client. Give it away for free. Give it away. Say, hey, you know what? If you liked it, tell people about it. It really frustrates me because before the internet, it was so easy for people to get clients because you just talk to people. Hey, what do you do? And you tell them what they do. And they're like, hey, I need one of those. Or my friend needs one of those. Can I grab your card? Now you're talking to the masses and nobody's listening. So it's so much harder. So you have to allow source to provide in any way, shape that comes. Maybe it is in the Tim Hortons lineup. And you just start up a conversation and someone said, like, hey, you know what? I could really use your help, and things move forward. So I want you to follow that nudge. Maybe it is to start a whole new career, go back to school, get your degree, and completely flip everything upside down. Maybe you get this calling, this little nudge to take a trip across the world to this place you've never been. And yeah, meet your soulmate there because you followed the nudge. You listened to that little voice inside that said, this is for me. I have to follow that. And I teach that inside the circle on how important it is to listen. Because for us, sometimes we listen and we feel like it's a failure. We're like, well, nothing happened. Damn straight something happened. You just didn't see the consequences of the other thing. So that's why it's so important, right? Because it saves us so much pain and heartache. So God said, give you everything you want. Your job is to trust 100% that is going to happen and then take action every single day. That's it. You don't have to know the next step. You don't have to know the next 100 steps. You just have to say, okay, I just need to take one step forward. That's it. And then when I've taken that step, okay, what's the next step I need to take forward? Your spirit guides will give that to you. They will show you. They're not going to say, hey, 3 years from now, this is what you need to do. They're going to say, next week, I want you to do this. This week, I want you to apply to go to back to school. Next week, I want you to call up that friend from 20 years ago and check in and see how they're doing. Your spirit guide will tell you what you need to do. You just have to listen. That's all you have to do is learn how to listen. And when you do that, you set yourself free. So if that sounds like something you want, where you're like, you know what, I have this deep inside, I don't know where it's going to lead. Maybe it'll change your life, but maybe that nudge is leading you towards one thing to take you to that best life possible. You ain't going to get there if you don't listen. You're never going to reach it if you don't listen to that nudge. Now, the nudge is going to be different than just a wanting or a desire. Because, yes, I would love $1 million. You want to send me $1 million? Here I am. I'll give you my address. You know what I mean? Come drop it on my doorstep. Not going to happen. That's just reality. So, what do? Maybe you want a dream car and you got the picture and you're like, I want that dream car. So I want you to feel it 100%. If it is something you truly desire, like you want it, you feel it in your bones. It's just like, oh, so you make it your phone screen. Then you start, guess what? Saving your money for it. I know, what a kicker. And here's the thing, you walk down the street, there's a quarter. You pick it up, it's going in the car fund. Every single moment you start doing that, then God in the universe says, they're serious about this. This isn't just some willy-nilly desire. They actually want what they say they want. Okay, we got this. We're going to go ahead, give it to them. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about, is being able to take action, and that action gets rewarded. I was talking to a client the other day. She's looking for her soulmate, but she's not leaving her house. Go be soulmate material. Go out and allow yourself to experience life. Allow yourself to be joyful. Maybe you go to a festival by yourself and you strike up a conversation with someone at a booth who becomes your new best friend. Maybe just leaving the house is all you need to do in order to attract that soulmate. Because I promise you, they're not going to knock at the door and say, Prince Charming's here. Not going to happen. Scrolling online might work for some people, but the vast majority of people are not finding their soulmate online because most people online are not there for good purposes. Let's just put it out there. So you're probably not going to do that, but maybe a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend knows somebody that might be a perfect match for you. And you have to take a chance on that. That's how it works. How I met my husband. So I knew my husband existed all through school because his sister was in my grade. Now he's 2 years older than me, so I knew he existed, but he was in my sister's grade. There was no attraction there whatsoever. Just knew they existed. But it was years later when I was working with his mom that his mom's like, "Hey, you want to go to Stag and Do tonight?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And I said, "No, no, no." But she kept asking. So finally I said, "Yeah, you know what? I'll go." I walked in. I was at that Stag and Do. I looked at my husband across the room at the time, and I was like, "I'm going to marry him." And you know what? I sure did. So that's that moment where you get that nudge, and it's like, oh, you should go. I didn't want to go. I had zero desire. One, I'd never been to a Stag and Do, so me going by myself to this Stag and Do that I didn't know anybody except for her was very stressful to me. But I took a chance. I followed the nudge, met my husband, and now what? We're coming on to 24 years of marriage. So you gotta just listen to those nudges, take that chance, take that one step. I wasn't thinking I'm gonna go and meet my soulmate. I'm thinking I'll give it a whirl, right? I'll go see if I have a good time, and I did have a good time. And 24 years, we're together, 26 years. So going strong. We're still here. But you have to listen to that nudge. You have to listen. You have to pay attention. You can't ignore it, because if you're at home, you're like, I want my soulmate. I want my soulmate. Where's my soulmate? But you ain't willing to take the chance. You're not taking the invitation. You're not willing to go out of the house and talk to people. It's just not going to be happening. You're not soulmate material. You're not someone that somebody wants to spend time with. So you have to put in the work. You put in the work, you'll get the reward. It's as simple as that. Online, we see a lot of stuff about manifesting. I'm manifesting this. I'm going to manifest that. That's amazing. Write it down, put it out in the universe. Say, this is what I want. Go all in on getting it, and your guides will send you all the opportunities possible if it's aligned for you. Simple as that. And if you want this, let's say you want something so badly, but you have to be open to the possibility that source knows better. And so you might want this, but the best thing for you is over here. Source is going to send you in this direction. And that does not mean that you don't get this. You get this better thing. It's way better. They're not going to be like, no, let's take you down a notch. You're asking things. You're too big for your britches, right? So let's take you down. No, they're going to be like, you know what? You're doing all the action. You're having faith. You're moving forward. You know that I'm going to provide, and you're taking action. So let's give you the best one possible, the newest, best version of everything you could possibly want. That's what it's all about. But you have to take action. You decide what you want and you go after it. Your guides are going to lead the way when you follow and listen to the nudges. If you're ready to start listening to the nudges, come and sit with us inside the circle. We meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for a 1 hour live call. And we have a beautiful community on Facebook and in the Circle Hub where you can connect with other women and all that kind of stuff. And you get to reach out and work one on one with me, which I think is amazing, because I want to sit down, I want to chat with you, I want to get to know you better and support you in this beautiful journey of life. So listen to the nudges. You're struggling with that. Let's talk. Come and join us inside the circle. If you're like, I'm not ready for that, that's totally okay. Make sure you hit subscribe, you follow along, follow me over on Instagram and Facebook, Linda Blaze, and Linda Blaze Official on Instagram, and you will find me, and we can start connecting, and you can get to know me a little bit better to see if that is the right move for you. All right, guys, I love you. Follow the nudges. I promise they're not just for the special people, they're for everyone. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.